With Federico Chiesa's move from Juventus to Liverpool confirmed, I want to see where in this Liverpool attack he'll fit in and figure out if he's worth the gamble at £10 million. Let's get into the video. I thought it'd be a good idea to see where he's going to fit into this front three at Liverpool with the depth they already have, and ultimately, try and figure out, where his place in the team is going to be. I think at the price they got him at, I think it was 10.9 million with a bit of add-ons as well, based on, appearances and stuff. I think it's a high risk, high reward type of transfer for Liverpool because, players like him, let's just argue he didn't have the injury issues that he has had. That's a 60, 70, 80 million pound player realistically a couple of years ago. And, unfortunately injuries have, sort of hindered his progress as a player, unfortunately. We did see glimpses of, 3 years old Chiesa in this past Euros. And yeah, Liverpool have obviously taken a gamble, but at like 10 million, I think it's kind of worth it, right? He's not coming in to start every single game. I don't think his body, based off his injury history, as we can see over here, I don't think he's up to that. For the money that they're paying for him, I don't think he needs to do that. They have players already in Diaz, who's very durable, as is Jota. Salah, we know, plays basically every single game. And so it's an interesting signing because for me, he's a bit of a Swiss Army knife in some ways, because we've seen him play very well as a left winger, over the last couple of years for Juve, and as a right winger as well. But over the last couple of seasons, we have also seen him play as a second striker behind Vlahovic, which worked really well. Now, I don't think we're going to really see that at Liverpool. I don't think that, I don't think they're going to sacrifice, a Szoboszlai position basically for Chiesa to be that second striker. Liverpool look to be deploying like a 4-2-3-1 right now, and in that three is Salah on one side, of course, Szoboszlai in the middle, and then either Diaz or, well, it has been Diaz for the first two games, but Gakpo can play left wing as well. So yeah, I really don't see Chiesa really coming in as another striker option. The only way that would work really is if they were going to play Núñez up front and then maybe Chiesa in behind him. But like I said, that does then bring Szoboszlai out of the picture. And yeah, I think they want Szoboszlai to do more the defensive side of things, as an 8 or a 10 can do these days. And Chiesa's not really going to do that. So that kind of then gives us left wing and right wing, which are his best positions. Of course, Liverpool already have two natural left wingers. I know Gakpo can play as a 9 and has played there previously, but there is only one right winger at the club, and that is, of course, Mohamed Salah, who's started the season incredibly well form wise, but he is getting on a bit. Let's not kid ourselves. I know he looks after himself in the most professional way, so I'm not saying he's slowing down in any way. He still looks as sharp as ever. With the amount of games that Premier League teams, or teams in general, are going to be playing next season, with more Champions League games, you've also got domestic cup games off the back of the Euros. I know Salah didn't play in that Euros, but of course Chiesa did, Jota did, and of course Gakpo did. So yeah, in a way, I do think clubs are a little bit spooked in a way, in that it seems like they're stockpiling players more so than ever before. My assumption was that one of Gakpo or Núñez would actually leave this window, to be honest, because, they've got 6 players here for 3 positions, and I know depth, and we've already been through the amount of games that these players are going to play. And of course, never mind injuries coming into that equation. Maybe it does make more sense to keep all 6, because the amount of games in the schedule is obviously very demanding, and, the luxury of having 2 players in each position, and Jota can play left wing, right wing, he can kind of play anywhere, across the 3. Diaz can kind of do the same, but, more predominantly a left winger. And Gakpo can play probably across the 3 as well. So, Slot does definitely have so many different options now to choose from as far as where he wants to, deploy his 3 out of 6 forwards, strikers. At 10.9 mil, there's just not much risk there in a weird way. Like I said, this player, Chiesa is 70, 80, 90 million pound player, a couple of years ago. I know we're not buying him a couple of years ago. He's now 26 and had a few bad injuries and niggles over the last couple of years. You can see here, right? There's a magnitude of different injuries here over, a decent amount of time missed. 2023, 5 injuries. 2022, 7 injuries. Missed 75 days. In 2021 is where he obviously did his ACL. And then before that, 2021 and 19, 20, 18, 19. You can see that, obviously he was a little bit younger at that point, and that was before the ACL injury. So it's clear to see that, post ACL injury, his body definitely isn't as durable as it kind of used to be. And that's, to be expected, I guess, after, a severe injury like that. Like I said, the amount they've actually spent on him, I think there could be, a massive reward at the end of it. If they can keep him semi-fit, I mean, I think he could be an absolute demon in the Premier League. With Diaz starting the first 2 games of the season at left wing and doing really well in both, it does feel like that he's sort of locked in there, in that left wing position with Gakpo in reserve. Diaz might get injured, whatever rotations happen as well for cup games. And so, I think they're quite covered at left wing. At striker, it does seem like Slot just isn't having Núñez. I think he's played 19 minutes so far in the Premier League in 2 games. Jota's done well. I think he likes the fact that Jota is a little bit more clinical. He's still very athletic. I'd argue Núñez is probably a little bit, bigger, stronger and faster, but Jota does offer you that reassurance that if that ball does go into the box, 9 times out of 10, he is probably finishing it. And, he does still miss chances. I'm not saying he finishes everything. But where Núñez, on the other hand, I just really do worry that Slot doesn't trust him in front of goal as much as maybe he trusts himself. And kind of shows with the actual game time he's been given so far. I'm still under the impression that Núñez might even leave. I've seen, links to Arsenal and stuff. And yeah, I don't know how true those are, of course. But, I'd be surprised if either Gakpo or Núñez leaves. And so then that leaves Chiesa to be that sort of cover for Salah, I think, on the right wing position, more so than anything else, because Diaz starts the game. Chances are Gakpo's probably going to come on for him. Maybe Chiesa's in the same sort of level, as far as pecking order goes now, to maybe Gakpo in that left wing position. But I think for the right wing position, more times than not, Liverpool wants Salah on the field for as long as possible. But if the game's wrapped up at 75th minute, I think that's perfect for a cameo for Federico Chiesa to come on and cause some trouble to some of these Premier League defences. Because, yeah, with his, blistering pace, I know maybe he's not as quick as he kind of used to be before the ACL injury. And a very creative player that, has an eye for a goal and can easily assist as well. I think he started 25 games last season for Juve, 9 goals, 2 assists. So, yeah, there's definitely promise there. I think at 10 mil, like I keep circling back to, I think the risk-reward ratio is there. Like, if they would have paid like 30, 40 mil for him, I would have looked at that and thought, you know what? This is just going to end in disaster as far as, what they're going to get out of that type of player. But at 10 mil for the caliber of player we're talking about here, over 50 caps for Italy, I really do think he could, come in and I don't think he's going to start games, for Liverpool in the Premier League if everybody's fit. But I definitely think there's room for him in this squad, coming off the bench, making an impact, starting in domestic cup games, of course, and maybe even starting in some of those Premier League games, actually, before Champions League kicks in. When the teams playing in Europe and the Premier League, of course, go to 2 games a week. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see where he actually fits in, and I'm hoping for Liverpool fans he definitely stays fit. Let me know what you think of the transfer, lads, in the comment section. Always intrigued to hear your opinions. If you did enjoy the video, lads, please do leave it a like. Subscribe if you're new to the channel, and I shall see you guys in the next one.